Welcome to the Creative Brew, helping you keep your creative juices brewing. We're giving out chunks of insight, motivation, and practicality for your creative journey. If you're a creator, athlete, or entrepreneur, luck can only get you so far. Having the right skill sets are critical in your success. All Skill No Luck makes handcrafted, custom designed flannel wear, made in the United States and based here right in Oceanside, California. They pride themselves on quality, creativity, and attitude. The perfect brand for the Creative Brew. Use promo code CreativeBrew10 and get 10% off and free shipping within the United States. You can check them out at allskillnoluck.com. My next partner is Elevate Coffee Trading, and if you appreciate specialty coffee, enjoy outdoor adventure, and love helping elevate the lives of children around the world, then you're going to love Elevate Coffee Trading. Their mission is to extract hope through love, coffee, and adventures. There's free shipping in the United States, and every bag of coffee helps sponsor health and education for children in coffee-producing countries and in areas of need in the United States. You can use promo code Elevate21 on your next order, and you can follow their journey on social media at Elevate Coffee Trading. Or you can visit online at elevatecoffeetrading.com, and let's start extracting hope together. And this show is brought to you by Tennessee Grappling Apparel, based out of the Knoxville area. Lifestyle wear for the modern wrestler or grappler. Use the promo code CB10 on your next purchase at TennesseeGrapplingApparel.com. A new episode of the Creative Brew, giving you insights on your creative journey. Today, we're back in Oceanside. Been on a 10-day trip back on the East Coast. Had the opportunity to meet with hundreds of kids, meet with new coaches, learn technique, just having the gratitude and the opportunity to be able to connect with all kinds of people. Always an appreciation. And at the same time, too, we're actually doing some more. Like I said, I think this opened up the door for more speaking engagements. So this is something I've been wanting to transition towards and something that I've been wanting to do. So always in appreciation, always in gratitude for everyone that was able to connect with me, do the camps, do the clinics, take pictures with me, talk to me. And you know what, I'm really just doing a observation, just as far as just things that I had the opportunity to do. Always, like I said, I really honestly, I really didn't get a chance to see a lot of my family. I went to go see my grandkids and my nieces and nephews, and yeah, I mean, it's just one of those where I really didn't get a chance to really connect with too many people. Hey, and welcome to a new episode of the Creative Brew, giving you insights on your creative journey. Today, we are back in beautiful Oceanside, California, and getting back to a normal schedule. I'm actually going to be back on the road here pretty soon. Me and my wife will actually be traveling to Australia for a couple of weeks. So I plan on recording some new content from over there, checking out some new coffee shops, experiencing some new things. But yeah, it's been a whirlwind, coupled in with making sure that I get my client work done, making sure that I connect with, the fighters through my Just Heart brand and make sure those things are done. So I have a lot of moving parts going on. And at the same time, too, keeping, staying consistent with this. Also, too, I recently just partnered up with B Money Beaston, and we're pretty much trying to create an affordable wrestling shoe. So going into that market, I know you usually have your bigger brands there. Hey, and we're back with a new episode of the Creative Brew, giving you insights on your creative journey. Today, we are back in Oceanside and just got off of a 10-day trip back on the East Coast. I went to Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Tennessee, being able to connect with a variety of people. I had the opportunity to be able to, and for people that don't know me, I'm heavy into wrestling, and I had the opportunity to go to different camps and actually be able to speak to a lot of the campers and a lot of the wrestlers and people that attended my camps or clinics. Or if I was going to a camp, I was able to connect with various wrestlers, and even having the opportunity to be able to run certain sessions and be able to connect and create, really to create creative. I didn't like that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, and we're back with a new episode of the Creative Brew. Today, we are back in beautiful Oceanside, California. Been on a 10-day road trip on the East Coast, went to Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Tennessee, had the opportunity to meet a variety of people, all kinds of wrestlers, people that's looking to try to get better in some form or fashion. I'm always in gratitude to be able to connect and be able to give, perhaps some words of wisdom, perhaps things that help them along their way, and at the same time be able to connect with them and use wrestling as a platform to be able to help others along the way. And that's something that I've been wanting to do for years now, is using this platform, using the thing that has created some kind of, really created a foundation for me, and be able to use that to advocate the sport and really to equate wrestling as a way of life. Look, other things that I'm trying to do with that, but overall, it was a great experience. Got to connect with all kinds of people, new people, coaches, new opportunities. So I will probably, come September, I will definitely probably be back on the road again, traveling and speaking at various club team situations, going to back over to Campbellsville, possibly going to Virginia. So a lot of opportunities there. And also too, being able to partner up. Recently just partnered up with B Money Beasting. So I'm helping them as far as with their branding, and we're really trying to get out an affordable, high quality, affordable shoe into the wrestling market. And obviously you've got your big names in the wrestling shoe game, but being able to sort of jump in there in some form or fashion and sort of create our little niche and audience, I think is great. I think that's something that I've been wanting to do, and with my skill set, and mainly in branding and design and merchandise. This is a great opportunity for me to be able to launch an emerging brand. So had the opportunity to have the shoes at the different camps and clinics, and be able to actually gave out a couple of pairs to one of the coaches, and then to one of the wrestlers too as well. But I had a lot of feedback about it, a lot of people seeing them, and like I said, that's helping to develop the brand too as well. So like I said, there's a lot of little things that are going forward right now. Obviously, there's some things that I'm still working on to try to fine tune as I grow this business, and ideally, perfect situation, I would love to be able to have the clients, the larger clients, to be able to do more things. But with anything, you just got to be patient, and you keep going forward. But like I said, a lot of opportunities has opened up, and I think that was really the one of the big takes from doing this little tour, was being able to use wrestling and to express myself as a coach, as a wrestler, as a creative, and really just providing something for wrestlers and for the people that was able to connect with me. So just observations, just things that I sort of took from the camps and clinics is, you know, I think probably some of the biggest things is that a lot of these kids, I mean, even from middle school all the way up to college, going into college, a lot of people are looking for guidance. They're looking for some kind of mentorship. They're looking for leadership. They're looking for someone to sort of show them the way. And I think as a coach, and I think for anyone that's in the coaching, atmosphere, being a coach, I mean, it's a privilege. It's not a luxury. I mean, it's not anything that's glamorous. And especially in wrestling, it's just one of those where you're dealing with a lot of different personalities, a lot of different backgrounds, people that, skill sets, levels, and being able to, from your capacity, being able to, you know, create the best value for that wrestler, or giving them the insight, the technique needed, giving them the mentorship, the leadership needed. I mean, it's a lot of work, and I'm gonna tell you now, a lot of your coaches don't get paid enough for what you do. I just come in and talk to different teams, I talk to teams and coaches and wrestlers, and doing individual workouts, but to be a full-time coach, I mean, that is a lot of commitment, a lot of work. So I commend all y'all for for what you do. Um, but yeah, that was just, some of my observations that, I think people are looking for, especially young wrestlers. They're looking for leadership. They're looking for guidance. Definitely some of the biggest things is just, obviously mindset, keeping them, on the right track, keeping them sort of locked in and focused on what they have to do. Obviously, with during the summer, it's a little bit more relaxed, but it's amazing to sort of see a lot of those wrestlers still working out, still looking to try to get better. But yeah, some of the biggest things, even in camp, is the mindset and sort of dial in and really focusing on what you want to take out of the camp. You don't want to go to the camp and you really not learn anything. That's a waste of your money and a waste of your parents' money or the coach's money. Take something from it. Take one thing from it. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what, but figure out ways of taking some kind of knowledge, putting it into your own skill set, and applying that knowledge in some form or fashion. That's I think that's one of the biggest takeaways. I sort of, even when I do camps and clinics, I always try to figure out, what, maybe I want to do something wild or something funky. And a lot of times it just goes back to, the little things, and sort of dialing in on little things. And um, I think all those matter. I think all those, especially having a great foundation, it plays a part into what you're doing as a wrestler or even as a athlete in general. That I think that's applicable to anything is learning and knowing the little things, focusing on the little things, focusing on the foundation. And I think that could, you know, create dividends for what you're doing from a skill set wise. Maybe you're trying to learn all this technique, and and I've told a lot of people, it's you got all these coaches, they can show you moves. I mean, but what we have to do is dial in on the little things to make those moves more efficient. To create that foundation to where it's going to be easier to apply all the concepts and all the technique. So that's some of the biggest things. I also had the opportunity to speak at Southside Fitness in Cleveland, Tennessee, and I spoke to their football camp, and we talked about, actually used and referenced the technique used in as a lineman, and I correlated that to life. How do we find the correct balance? How do we create the right positioning, the right angle? And I told the kids, it's the coaches, they're under the assumption that yes, the coaches are teaching you technique, but even more importantly, they're training you for life. They're teaching you about life, and we use sports as the context for life. We use that, and that's something that even now I'm starting to explore. Now is, how do I use wrestling? How do I use martial arts? How do I use art, design? How do I use all this as the context for life? And how am I figuring out, what ways am I expressing? How do I express myself more creatively through wrestling, or maybe through writing, or maybe through design? Um, I think everything is art. Everything is creativity. And once you figure that out, and once you learn that, and you know that, and you exude that, I think things become a little bit more natural to you. When you don't see it as just a sport anymore. You see it as a meditation. You see it as a expression of art. I used to I didn't ever think about that. And I've been in art forever, and I always sort of separated the wrestling part from my art side, or from from the creativity part. And now I'm starting to realize it's one and the same. And knowing that, it actually allows me to free myself up as a wrestler, to be able to create different things that's going to benefit, maybe creative games to help out with my wrestlers, or maybe just just ways of creatively thinking about things when I'm wrestling, or maybe I'm in certain positions or situations. How creative could I be? And I think when you allow that play to come into anything, you become a little bit lighter. You become a little bit more freer. You're not really concerned with the wins or losses per se. You're enjoying the process of play, and I think that's something that we may really need to focus on, especially at the youth level, is figuring out how can we create more play. Yeah, because it's going to get serious. You get up to higher levels, you get up to high school, college, world level. I mean, you have that level of seriousness. I mean, it's top competition. But at the same time, too, we still have to figure out ways of having that space of play and being able to creatively, have fun while we're competing. Have fun, because once we turn that into a job and it's just we're going through the motions, that energy isn't there anymore. And I've seen it from a lot of athletes before, where they competed for so long and that energy is just isn't there anymore, and they just quit altogether. So figuring out ways of injecting that play, injecting that creativity, in everything that you do. I mean, me, yes, you know I'm one of those people too. I used to figure out ways of just separating all these things, um from maybe my design work, separating the wrestling side, or maybe separating the speaking side, or maybe just separating the normal the normal me from what I do. And in actuality, everything is all an expression of you. Everything. And I think once we realize that, and we know that, hey, look, this is this is how I express myself through such and such. This is how I express myself through such and such. It's all an authentic expression of you, an extension of you. Even with the podcast, even with the for me, even with the podcast and the clothing brand and the design business, and trying to work on books and characters, all these things, even wrestling, coaching, competing, all these things are expressions of who I am. And I will figure out ways of expressing that, forever. I'll figure out a way. I'll figure out ways of expressing maybe some kind of new outlet. Maybe it's comedy. Who knows? Maybe it's music. I'm not the best singer in the world, but figure out new ways, new avenues of expressing all the dimensionalities of who you are. That's the game of life. That's figuring it out. That's the creative pursuit. That's the creative journey. Is finding more ways to experiment. I mean, life is just a grand experiment anyway. I mean, you can go this way or this way, and ain't no telling where you'll end up. Maybe you're dead set on some goal, and you take a side quest somewhere, and it leads you off the beaten path, and you go somewhere, but then you lead back onto the main road. It's all an experiment. It's all a game. Maybe you're doing volunteer work, or maybe you're doing this and that and everything else, and you look back and you sort of see, at face value, I mean, you may feel like you're chaotic. It may feel like, wow, you're just all over the place. But when you look back and you see the mosaic for what it is, it's all art. Your life is one beautiful mosaic of art. That's all it is. The messy parts, the good parts, the awesome parts, it's all one beautiful mosaic. Sometimes we talk about, hey, we want everything to be peachy, and we want life to be great. If you turn that back into art, and no, if you turn that back into art, even relating to the concept of art, you can't have a form, you can't create a form without having the light and the dark. You have to have some kind of darkness to create the form, or the illusion of form. So knowing that, hey, your life is going to be one beautiful mess of different things, and when you piece it together, it can turn out into something beautiful. That's if we choose to see it like that. But all I'm doing is sort of with this episode is just telling you that we're all sort of expressing all kinds of things within ourselves, and we need to start realizing that yes, it's really easy to in our mind to say, hey, look, this is what we do here, this is what we do here, this is what we do here, but in actuality, everything is art. All the all the things that we're doing, all the things that you're doing in your daily life, it's all art. Even the mundane things, even the things that are sort of boring, it's all an expression of you. Now, obviously, if you want to put more out in the world, then you're going to have to put that energy out. You're going to have to put more out. If you're looking to receive more in this world, you're going to have to put more out. That's what I got today. That was the maybe my observation from the trip and sort of coming back and having the opportunity to see some of my friends and family and even playing. I honestly, I actually had the opportunity, on a side note, I actually had the opportunity to bring my little niece. um Two instances, I had the opportunity to bring my oldest grandkid. She went with me to some of these events and was able to record and create content for me, which was awesome. And then having the opportunity to bring my little niece to a scholarship banquet, and they generally bring back past winners, and they were actually celebrating new winners for the scholarship, and had the opportunity to bring her in to almost to expose her into something new. And it's sort of awesome because she's like a little social butterfly, and she was saying hello and introducing herself to everyone. I have a problem doing that. I'm a podcaster. I creating this content. I do speaking engagements. I have issues trying to just introduce myself to people, and she does it so effortlessly. It's unbelievable. She just comes in and just puts herself out in the world. That's something I would love to nurture, even with her growing up, watching her grow up. How could I help her nurture that? And it's actually pretty cool. And I wanted to be able to expose her to maybe something new and introducing her to just new people. But I want to do that because I actually brought my mom last year to the event, and I always see a part of my mom in my niece, personality wise, just the way her mannerisms. So it was pretty cool to be able to bring her to this banquet this year, and had the opportunity to do that, and it was pretty cool. And I think, me personally, being from the creative side, I'm always sort of observing, how my niece and nephew, like, how do they play, how do they operate during their daily life? What things are they afraid of, or what things do they have no fear of? And it was just amazing with her, just how confident and bold she was, and you know, really didn't care who it was. Just introduced herself, and and then people talked back to her. It was crazy. She gave hugs to people, didn't know them, had no clue who they were, gave them a hug. And it's sort of amazing to me, like, why, obviously there's all kinds of issues on why we don't do that, but how come we're not so open like that? Maybe we just get so beaten down to where, we feel like, we get so guarded to where we can't even do that anymore. We can't even just give someone a hug. We can't even just say hi anymore. I mean, I still do it. I mean, I still say hi, but having, being able just to come out there and say, you know what, hey, here I am. How you doing? And glad to meet you. Really so easy a child could do it. And we have a hard time doing that. So it's amazing. It's really amazing to sort of see that. Also, too, before we sign off, I actually have a piece of artwork that is in partnership with Artists in Solidarity to actually help migrant families with this auction. The proceeds from this art auction, helps migrant organizations that help migrant families. And there's a lot of issues going on, really highly contentious topic right now. But I believe art can save lives. I believe art, you know, can create social movements. And I think with this is a way for me to help support that cause, because I believe in humanity. It's really easy to see, division and borders and countries, but I see humanity. And this is just being a good human. And if you're interested, if you want to donate, you can go to artistinsolidarity.com and you can go through, and there's all kinds of different artists to choose from. I've actually got a piece up on there, if anyone wants to bid on it, but there's all kinds of artists to choose from. And they're right now collecting proceeds. They'll actually be pushing this all the way up through July 30th. So check them out at artistinsolidarity.com. Other than that, best way to support this show, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/the creative brew. And for the price of a cup of coffee, you can support this episode as well as future episodes. This episode will also be on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcast. And once again, hey, this is the Creative Brew. Be creative, stay inspired.